Have you noticed how more men in 2026 seem less interested in chasing and more interested in moving on? Why are so many men focusing on new opportunities, new lifestyles, and new priorities instead of competing for attention? And what happens when men realize they have more options than they once believed? Stay with us till the end of this video, because this shift is changing the modern dating landscape in ways few people expected.
I think being single nowadays is only hard for other people when they still do the same things, like they still romanticize somebody's potential. Instead of romanticizing their potential, romanticize being in your single era. Romanticize embracing the fact that you're alone and actually enjoying it. You don't know when you're going to meet the next person, so actually enjoying and sitting in that time is great because you get to really know yourself. You become your own soulmate first so that you actually are good to somebody else. Be confident in your own skin. It seems like everybody now is just not confident anymore, and be yourself. You're the only you that's out there. Instead of basing your mood off of, oh, he didn't text me or they didn't call me, and your whole mood is based off of that, and your whole day, focus on yourself. Take yourself on dates, do that self-care day, go on solo trips, learn to actually love yourself first so that you enjoy being single. It's not a bad thing to be single. And instead of waiting for them, choose you. You're waiting for them to choose you. You choose you. If you choose you, it doesn't matter if they choose you because you've already been chosen. Just learn how to actually be single and happy, not just be single. There's a difference, because in 2026, being single is actually the real flex.
For years, many believed men would always be the ones pursuing, proving themselves, and competing endlessly for relationships. But in 2026, that assumption is being challenged.
There's this idea with a lot of young men that they'll hit their prime at 40 and then they can exclusively date young, hot women. I am the young, hot woman trying to date your dad. Let me tell you something. Most of you will not be pulling young, hot women when you're 40.
The reason why men, by the time they're 40, even if they were in their 20s, thinking that in 20 years, they'll be able to just date whoever they want if they're really successful and they build up their life where they want to be. The reason why many of them don't end up dating the 20-some-year-old by the time he's 40 is because, one, he's either married, or two, he has realized that he doesn't want to. And that might be because of a multitude of reasons. I would argue, number one, it's because he doesn't want his peace to be disrupted, or he's been there, done that, and lived to regret it. But trust me, you're not going to make him feel bad for not following through on thoughts that he had when he was 20-some years old. Trust me.
More men are stepping back and reevaluating what they truly want. Instead of chasing validation, they are investing in careers, fitness, financial goals, and personal freedom.
Social media wants you to be single. We all know it feeds men like thirst traps and like hot women and tries to catch their eye. We talk about that a lot. We talk about how embarrassing that is for a guy to have that on his phone. We don't really talk about the thirst traps that are being fed to women, which in my opinion are arguably a lot more damaging to relationships. There's so much content out there that is aimed at convincing women to be dissatisfied with their lives, specifically dissatisfied with the men in their lives. I'm talking about videos where a woman walks into her room and there's a bag packed with a perfectly handwritten note that's I'm whisking you off on a vacation and it's going to be so romantic. It's this perfect looking guy. We've seen that for years on social media, and it gets fed to women who then look at it and are like, my boyfriend, my husband, he doesn't do that for me. What's even worse are the comments. Other girls will be like, if my future husband doesn't do this for me, I don't want him. This is the bare minimum. And then if you go into these Facebook groups or subreddits or anything like that where people are talking about relationships, if there's ever a woman with a question like, my husband did this or that and we got in an argument or something, the comments are full of people being like, you need a divorce, you need to leave him, you could do so much better, there are so much better men out there. For little things, he swore or he got mad and went for a walk. People will literally be like, that's narcissistic behavior. Every man on the planet is a narcissist and you need to leave him to find someone else that's better, but every man is that way. It's just this cycle of doom and gloom and gross. If you are comparing your relationship to things that you see online, if you're taking the advice of people who have, no offense, failed relationships, you will become single. You just will. There's a reason that fewer and fewer people are having successful marriages or even getting married at all, or staying in long-term committed relationships. I think social media is like wrecking it. And again, we talk about the men. We talk about how like men get unrealistic expectations for women based on the women that they see online. And it's like so damaging and like, ew. But we never ever talk about the women getting unrealistic expectations online about what their men should be doing. And that's what's really destroying these relationships. Are there crappy men out there? Of course there are. But I think a lot of women think that their marriages are worse than they actually are because of everything they're being fed on social media. And a lot of women are wondering why their relationships are failing or why they can't find a good man. It's because they're comparing all the time, or they're listening to naysayers who want you to be single. Be careful about what you take in from social media.
What surprises many observers is that these men don't appear bitter or angry. They simply seem focused on building lives that feel rewarding with or without a relationship.
I just wanted to confess something to you guys. I'm so desperate. Like, I'm desperate. I know I look so desperate. It's because I am. I'm so desperate. I can't find any guy that will like ever want to like be with me or hug me or cuddle me or like smell me. There's just nobody out there. It's just really hard. You know, everywhere I go, I get ignored and denied, and I'm really desperate. Please help. Fucker.
The modern dating world has also expanded men's choices. Technology, travel, social networks, and changing lifestyles have created opportunities that previous generations never had.
I used to get rejected all the time by guys that I actually liked, and it was so fucking annoying until I actually went into like my rejection wound and cleared that shit. I finally, like, nothing stupid would happen where they would like reject me. But the funniest thing I ever like happened was a lot of the guys that rejected me later in life, I would like see them again, and the universe is just so funny because they're always I always think rejection is protection. Like, there's a reason you didn't end up with them. You didn't lose the love of your life, like, trust. But I literally would see them later in life and then be like so disgusted by them because I would see how they were with like their new relationship or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, thank God I didn't date you because holy shit, we would have never vibed. So I'm just saying, sometimes the universe is just protecting you. You have no idea.
Many men are becoming more selective about who they spend time with. If a relationship doesn't bring peace, respect, and compatibility, they are increasingly willing to walk away.
Ladies, this one's gonna sting, but most of the time it is not men ruining relationships. It is women sabotaging themselves. But first, let me explain. First is the victim mindset. If every argument turns into poor me, look what you did to me, you're not resolving the conflict. You're dodging accountability. Second, attention addiction. If you need outside validation, likes, stares, DMs to feel secure, you'll never be happy with the man that you're with. Third, lack of self-worth. If you drag your unhealed trauma into a relationship but refuse to face it and deal with it, you're making your partner pay for damage that they did not cause. These aren't just little habits. They are relationship killers. They destroy trust, create resentment, and eventually push away the man or woman you claim to love. And the hard truth, a lot of women would rather blame men than admit that they're guilty of these patterns. So before you say men are the problem, ask yourself, am I sabotaging my own relationship? Try to ask yourself that. If you're brave enough to admit that, you will change everything. If not, you're going to repeat the same cycle. Drop your take in the comments. I know this one is going to get a little heated.
Social media has accelerated this shift. Men constantly see examples of alternative lifestyles, personal growth journeys, and communities that encourage independence and self-improvement.
So the Don't Date Damaged Women content is pro-pedophilic. Yeah, it is. Because Don't Date Damaged Women is literally just coded language for don't date a woman who has had trauma in her past. Don't date a woman who has survived anything. Don't date a woman who has learned how to set boundaries and uphold them. Don't date a woman who's ever been manipulated, because now she might identify manipulation. Don't date a woman who could call out your toxic behavior. And to be clear, they're not asking for someone who's healthy. They're not looking for emotional health or emotional maturity. They're asking for untouched, innocent, pure. And oh wait, that sounds an awful lot like grooming logic. Huh, how'd that sneak in there? Ever-present male obsession with female innocence and purity is not just rooted in misogyny. It is very clearly and deeply rooted in pedophilia. It is a pedophilic ideology. And pedophilia can be learned. Pedophilia can be taught. And that is what this content is teaching young boys. They are training the next generation of pedophiles.
The biggest change may be psychological. Men are discovering that happiness isn't always tied to relationship status, and that realization gives them more confidence in their choices.
5 things I did in my nice girl era that got me played like a fiddle. And this is part 2. Go back to part 1 if you haven't heard it. All of these are massive mistakes that you can never take back once you've done them once with a man. So listen. Number 1, I would not inconvenience him. Inconveniencing a man is how they release vasopressin. So I would always make it as convenient as possible for him. So I would drive to him. I would meet him places. Bitch, no. Absolutely not. 2, I would be thoughtful. I already know all of my nice girls are going to be like, what do you mean being thoughtful? No. Don't do this. Every single time I would fucking be thoughtful and be like, oh, I thought of you and I got you this gift. Or I thought of you and whatever. Whatever! I thought of you and did whatever. Absolutely the fuck not. Men do not appreciate stuff like that. Go off in the comments. Go off, kings. I'm telling you, you bitches do not appreciate the stuff like that. Don't do it. Gifts are for the girls. Gifts are for you, period. If I could invoice every man I've ever gotten a gift for, bitch, I can open a department store. I'm embarrassed to say this next one, but 3 is believing him when he said his ex was crazy. Never. Never! Believe her. Believe her. That girl is trying to save you months to years of heartache and emotional damage. 4 is letting him use my car. Because what do you mean not only did you cheat on me, but you picked her up in my car? That's a real one, y'all. Like, you're dead ass right now. You're dead ass. Pick her up in your beater. Not in my nice ass car. No, thank you, sir. And finally, 5, and we've all made this last mistake, believing that he fell asleep. Yeah, believing that he fell asleep. He never did. He fell asleep inside of her. He's still pumping away. He never fell asleep. Never is that true. Bitch, never. Not once. All of those things got me played like a fiddle. Cue the tiny violin. You're welcome. I can literally do a part 3. I was so embarrassing, so cringe. Oh, girl, I was so damn bad. Bye.
Some women are surprised by this trend because men were traditionally expected to keep pursuing no matter what. But many men are no longer operating under those expectations.
If you are single, living in this economy, doing everything for yourself, you a bad bitch. All right? Like, gas is high, rent is high. Like, it is hard. Like, it is very, very challenging right now. Like, it is a privilege to get on a plane. Plane tickets are so high. Like, if you are a single mom, doing it by yourself, like, you need, everybody to be patting themselves on the back right now because, wow. And I don't see it changing for the foreseeable future, which is also extremely concerning. So if you put groceries in your refrigerator every week, if you pay your car note, if you pay your rent, if you doing all that by yourself, like, you need to give yourself some grace and be, like, incredibly proud of yourself because it is incredibly challenging right now as a single human being living in America.
Rather than competing for attention, some men are choosing environments where they feel appreciated, respected, and aligned with their long-term goals.
Why is it so hard to find a man that can hike and shoot pool and has good taste in music and wants to fish and camp and maybe get a boat, side-by-sides? Like, why is it so hard to find a man like that? I don't get it. I literally don't get it. I just want to go to the dive bar on Friday night, shoot some pool, listen to some good music, okay? Then wake up Saturday, we can go for a hike, or we can get a boat or a side-by-side, and we can spend the day doing, like, fun shit, drinking, of course, you know? Like, and then church on Sunday. Why is that so hard? It should not be this difficult to find a country man to just do fun shit with. Like, bro, this is getting annoying. It's getting old. I'm just gonna die single, I guess. I don't know.
Whether this trend continues or not, one thing is becoming clear. Men are redefining what success, fulfillment, and relationships mean for themselves in 2026.
This is the way damaged women talk. This is why guys say that they don't want to be with a woman who's been with a whole bunch of guys, because odds are if that woman's been with a whole bunch of guys, there's going to be a rusty guy in there that did her dirty. And now she's talking like this, right? Now she's saying, oh, it's too much to love someone. I'm going to fill their cup too much. I'm going to feel bad about myself when they leave. This is all damage. This is a damaged woman who has now made a decision, by the way, oh, I'm going to use men for money because I've been done dirty by some men. And then everybody wonders why guys want somebody who hasn't been through hell in relationships, why they go for a woman who hasn't had a lot of sexual experiences, why they go for a woman who hasn't been in a lot of relationships, because they don't have all that damage on their back that then they're going to toss on to that guy.
So the real question is this: if more men continue prioritizing their own growth and exploring new opportunities, how will modern dating evolve when chasing is no longer the default behavior?